Hello, this is Dr. Jones, Assistant Principal of Eggers Middle School. I'd like to welcome you to our first Eggers Middle School Parent University video. It is designed to answer the frequently asked question, how do you join a Google Meet from Google Classroom? The reason this is important is a lot of your students might be saying, Mom, I did all of my work, or Dad, I've done all my work, but the teacher keeps marking me absent for the day. Parents, your student is absent for the day if they don't go into Google Classroom and join the Google Meet with their teacher every day according to their schedule. And I'm going to explain that bit by bit on the next few slides. So, what's the difference between a Google Classroom and a Google Meet? Simply put, Google Classroom is where your student goes to get their assignments, and Google Meet is where your student goes to meet the teacher and the other students for daily instruction. Your student is required to do both in order to be counted for attendance each day. Google Classroom is where a student finds their assignments and turns them in. It's also where the teacher posts messages for the students, and it's where students will find links to some of the platforms that the teachers use on a daily basis. Google Meet is a place where virtual classes take place. Students must attend the Google Meet to be counted as present for the day. Meets take place when the class is scheduled according to your student's daily schedule. Students cannot join the class meet until the teacher has joined the class meet. So if your student is saying they can't get into their class meet, it might be because the teacher has not logged into the meet and they just need to wait a few seconds. They might be a few seconds early. So each student at the beginning of the year received a daily schedule. That daily schedule has 5 different class periods on it and 1 lunch period. So each day, for every class, your student is expected to sign into the Google Classroom and the Google Meet for each classroom teacher. For example, at 7:30, they're going to sign into Google Classroom and Google Meet for the first period class, which is advisory. At 8:15, they'll go to a new teacher using Google Classroom and Google Meet for second period. At 9:40, they'll go to a new teacher using Google Classroom and Google Meet for third period. At 11:45, they'll go to a new teacher using Google Classroom and Google Meet for fifth period. At 1:10, they'll go to a new classroom and Google Meet to see a new teacher at period 6. The only time they will not log in to a new teacher is at 11 to 11:45, which is the lunch period, so they do not have any teachers to see at that time. Now let's talk about joining Google Meet from the Google Classroom. First thing your student will do is they will go to their Google Classrooms. You should see a list of the 5 classrooms that they have used their Google Classroom codes to gain access to their teacher's classroom with. From there, according to their schedule, they'll pick the class that they need to be in on the time that they need to join the class. These are the steps. Number 1, go to Google Classroom. That's the red arrow at the top. Number 2, click on the class you are attending. That's the red arrow at the bottom. Once you've clicked on the class that you're attending, you'll see a banner across the top. Pay close attention to the red circle. The steps to join the meet are as follows. Number 1, The Google Meet code can be found in the classroom under the heading. Click on the meeting code. That's what I have circled in red. Once your student clicks on the meeting code, they will be escorted to a new page. It's called the Getting Ready page. In this page, they'll be able to turn on or off their camera, mute their microphone, check to make sure that they're appropriately dressed for class, make sure that there's nothing distracting behind them before they join the class. So this is the steps. Number 1, find the Click Now button. If the teacher is not in the Google Meet yet, the student will not be able to join until the teacher is in the Google Meet. So just above the Join Now button, you'll see the teacher's name if the teacher is in the class. Once you've identified that the teacher is in the class, go ahead and click the Join Now button. So just to recap, to make sure you understand what you need to do to be in attendance at school every day. Students must attend Google Meet during the time scheduled on their daily schedule. If a student does not attend the Google Meet but does assignments, the student is still counted truant or absent. If a student is unable to attend Google Meet for any reason, the parent should call the school, leave a message, and notify the teacher that there was some reason that the student was not able to log into that class for the day. You can call the attendance office directly at 219-933-2449, extension 2598. Again, that's 219-933-2449, extension 2598, in order to report any attendance issues. Now, I know that actions sometimes speak louder than words, so I'm going to show you a quick video of how it looks when your student is joining a Google Meet from the Google Classroom. The beginning of the school year, you received 5 class codes. In order to enter those class codes, you were asked to push the plus button, and then the Join Class button. And at the beginning of the year, you entered all 5 of those class codes one at a time into the class code box. After you entered the code, in order to join the teacher's class, you had to click on the blue Join button. All 5 of those classes should now already be joined by your student, so you don't have to do this step anymore. That is finished. But all 5 of the classes that you joined appear in your Google Classroom. So once you go to Google Classroom, according to your schedule, you'll click on the class that you need to be in on the time that you need to be in the class. At the top on the banner, you'll find the Meet link. This is how you'll join your teacher for instruction. You have to click on the Meet link, remember, in order to be counted for attendance. The Meet link is where you meet the teacher for instruction. When you click on the Meet link, it will take you to the Get Ready page. On the Get Ready page, as a student, you'll be able to mute your microphone or turn off your camera, or you'll be able to make sure that you are properly dressed for school, that there's nothing distracting behind you, and that you're ready to learn. So it looks good. The next thing I have to do is check to make sure that my teacher is in the class. So right above the Join Now button, I can see my teacher's name. My teacher is in the call, so now I can join. If my teacher was not there, I'd have to wait a second. My teacher has signaled that I'm entering the meeting with a bell. Now she can see my face, I can see her face, and I can also click on the people button at the top, and I can see the rest of the people in my classroom. So I'm going to wave up there. There's a student in the class, and there is a teacher in the class. The most important thing to remember about all of this is that your student needs to do both. Your student needs to log into Classroom, Google Classroom, and they need to log into Google Meet. Google Classroom is where they get their assignments, but Google Meet is where they meet with the teacher to get their instruction for the day. They are both very important parts of the instruction. In closing, I'd like to thank you for watching today. I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to call Eggers Middle School at 933-2449, and we'll answer any further questions that you may have. Remember, Google Classroom and Google Meet are required for attendance. Have a great day.